6 months ago, I had a virtual assistant collaborating with me to do something I could have done myself in about 90 seconds. I didn't know that yet. I was just busy, drowning, actually. Proposals, client emails, content calendars, spreadsheets that should have been automated years ago. And then someone showed me one single setting inside an AI tool I already had open in another tab. And I remember sitting there thinking, wait, that's it? That's been sitting there this whole time? That tool was Claude. 14 specific things you can do today that will save you hours, replace tools you're currently paying for, or put money directly back in your account. Some of these are going to feel like cheating. Good, let's go. Quick context. I'm not here to sell you anything. I use this in my actual business every day, and I got tired of watching people use maybe 3% of what's available because nobody ever showed them the rest. Here's the promise. By the end of this video, you'll have used more of Claude's real capability than 90% of people who've had an account for a year. And hack number 10? That one alone has saved people I know literal full-time hires. I'm not joking. Stick around for that one. If even one of these saves you an hour this week, do me a favor and hit subscribe. Not for me, just so the next batch of these actually reaches you instead of getting buried by the algorithm. Okay, let's get into it. Here are the 14 hacks. Hack 1. Stop starting from zero. You know that feeling when you open a new chat and have to re-explain your entire business from scratch? Your tone, your client, your style, your context every single time? That's the default experience for most people, and it's exhausting. Here's the fix. Claude has a feature called projects. You create one project per client, per business, per ongoing piece of work. Inside it, you write instructions once, your tone, your rules, your non-negotiables, and you upload the files that matter, your brand guide, your last 10 emails, your pricing sheet, whatever. From that point on, every single conversation inside that project already knows all of it. No re-explaining. If you're currently spending even 10 minutes per conversation re-establishing context and you have 5 conversations a week, that's almost 3.5 hours a month you just got back for free. Hack 2, the 8,000 character cheat code, quick 1, builds right on hack 1. Most people don't realize project instructions can hold close to 8,000 characters, plus entire documents on top of that. That means you're not writing a quick note, you're writing an actual operating manual for how Claude should think and respond inside that project. Your voice, your red flags, things that have failed before so it doesn't suggest them again. Write it once, it compounds every single time you open that project. That's the whole hack. Hack 3. Turn Claude into your always-on brand voice. Here's where this gets interesting for anyone who creates content or writes for clients. Imagine you're a freelance copywriter with 4 different clients, each with a completely different voice. One's playful, one's corporate, one's blunt, and no nonsense. Set up one project per client. Drop in 5 or 6 pieces of their best existing content as knowledge files. From then on, when you ask for a draft, it's not generic AI voice, it's already shaped to sound like them because it's been trained on them in that conversation. If you're billing clients for content and it used to take you a 45-minute first draft and now it takes 12 at even a modest hourly rate, that's real money back in your week, every single week. Hack 4, the artifact trick nobody uses when Claude generates something for you, a document, a piece of code, a spreadsheet. It can open in a separate workspace called an artifact, completely separate from the chat. Why does that matter? Because you can keep refining that one document, tightening it, restructuring it, fixing one paragraph without losing the conversation that built it and without scrolling through 12 versions buried in chat history. It's the difference between a messy group chat and an actual shared document. Use it every time you're building something you'll come back to. Every time I asked for a tweak, it just updated this one document. It never made me reread the whole thing from scratch. Attorneys redlining contracts, bankers building memos, consultants drafting proposals, coaches writing outlines. Doesn't matter what you do, it's the same fix. Hack 5. Make it remember without you asking. This one feels like the cheating part, honestly. Claude can now retain context from past conversations without you repasting your situation every time. You mention your business once, your goals once, and later conversations can pick that thread back up. You stop being the one carrying the context. The tool does. That's hours back over a month of regular use, just in the friction you no longer pay. Hack 6. Stop guessing, start verifying. Here's a mistake I made early on, and it cost me. I asked for pricing on a competitor's product and got a confident, detailed, completely outdated answer. Claude has a web search toggle. Turn it on, and instead of guessing from old training data, it actually goes and checks current prices, current news, current anything. If you're making a business decision, a pricing call, a competitor comparison, is this still true check, and you skip turning this on, you're trusting a guess instead of a fact. Flip it on every time it matters. Hack 7. Build tools, not just text. The visualizer. Imagine you need a quick calculator for clients, a pricing estimator, a simple intake form, a basic dashboard. You don't need a developer. You don't need Webflow. You describe what you want in plain English, and Claude builds an actual interactive tool right there, working on screen. A basic lead qualifying calculator like this, built and embedded on a landing page, used to cost $300 to $500 from a freelancer. You can have a working version in minutes. That's not a time saver. That's cash directly staying in your account. Hack 8. Let it write the first draft of every client proposal. This is a money one. Write it down. Most service businesses lose deals not because the work is bad, but because the proposal took 4 days to send and the client moved on. Set up a project with your past winning proposals as knowledge files. Next time, you give Claude the client's situation and it drafts a tailored proposal in your own proving structure, same day, often same hour. See that? It didn't just guess. It checked with me first. Close rate goes up because speed itself is a competitive advantage. That's not a productivity hack. That's a sales hack wearing a productivity costume. Hack 9. Automate the boring middle of your business. Picture this. You run a small agency and every week there's a pile of repetitive admin, sorting files, renaming things, pulling together a weekly report from scattered documents. Claude Cowork is built exactly for this. You point it at a folder on your computer and it can read, organize, and create files inside it, handling multi-step busy work on its own, the kind of task you'd normally hand to an assistant. One important thing, back up your folder before you let it loose the first time, since it works directly on real files. But once you trust the workflow, this is the closest thing to hiring a part-time ops person without the payroll. That worked perfectly. This is exactly the before/after you want for the video. Look at the working folder panel on the right. Weekly summary, data-generated summary, Brightline invoice, Brightline meeting notes, Brightline report, 2026 Q3, Riverside invoice, Riverside call summary, 2026. Every file got renamed into the client doc type date pattern you asked for, and the summary doc was created alongside them. Progress 404 confirms it ran the full task to completion without getting stuck. Hack 10. The one that replaces an entire hire. Okay, this is the one I told you about. Pay attention. If you've ever thought about hiring a junior developer or a technical virtual assistant just to build small internal tools, a tracker, a simple app, a dashboard, Claude Code can build that for you directly end-to-end, debugging and all, working like an actual engineer inside your project. I know multiple solo founders who delayed a technical hire by 6 months to a year using this alone, building internal tools themselves instead of paying $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year for a role they only sort of needed yet. That's not an exaggeration for the video. That's the actual math people have run. That's Hack 10, fully delivered. This is exactly the screen you need for the video. Look at what just happened. It built a complete working app. Add client form, status dropdown, notes field, sortable table, live total banner, and it's already rendering live in the right-hand preview pane. This took one message, no coding from you, no junior dev, no $50K hire. I typed one sentence describing what I wanted, and Claude Code built this. The form, the colored status badges, the edit and delete buttons, all of it. No developer, no template, no code from me. Notice the status badges are color-coded automatically, orange for lit, green for active. That's a small polish touch, Claude code added on its own, the kind of detail you'd normally ask a junior dev for separately. Hack 11. Turn one document into a week of content. You know that dread of staring at a blank content calendar on a Sunday night? Upload one long-form piece, a podcast transcript, a blog post, a client case study into a project, and ask Claude to break it into 5 or 6 platform-specific posts, a LinkedIn version, a tweet thread, an email. What used to be a half-day content repurposing session becomes a 15-minute task. If content is part of how you generate leads, that's not just time saved, that's more visibility, more often, for less effort. Hack 12. Connect it to the tools you already use. Here's one most people don't even know exists. Claude can connect directly to outside tools and services, your calendar, your task manager, other apps you already run your business on through something called MCP or connectors. Instead of bouncing between 5 tabs to check a calendar, pull a task list and check an inbox. You ask in one place and it pulls from the actual connected source. It's the difference between being your own integration layer and having one already built for you. Hack 13. Stop losing Word documents to reformatting hell. If you've ever sent a client a Word doc and gotten it back looking like it went through a blender, new tool for that. Claude now works directly inside Word and across Microsoft 365 surfaces like Outlook on the right plans. Edits, rewrites, formatting fixes, handled in the actual document you're going to send, not a separate window you copy-paste from and inevitably break the formatting on. Now, full transparency. For a one-page document like this, you could fix the formatting by hand in 5 seconds. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. This isn't where the hack proves itself. Where it's actually worth it is the 20-page document. The contract has been edited back and forth by 3 people and now has 4 different fonts buried in it. The client proposal, where the headings stop matching halfway through, that's not a 5-second fix by hand. That's 20 minutes of hunting through paragraph styles, and you'll still miss one. Small hack, but it scales with the size of the mess, and the bigger the document, the more it saves you. Hack 14, the setting that makes everything above actually work, and it's the one that ties the whole video together. Everything I just showed you works dramatically better if you do this one thing. Write your instructions, like you're training a new hire on day 1, not like you're typing a search query. Tell it what's failed before. Tell it your actual constraints. Tell it to push back if your reasoning has a hole in it, instead of just agreeing with you. People who do this get a fundamentally different tool than people who type single-line requests and hope. Same product, completely different outcome. Let's do the recap. All 14. 1. Stop re-explaining yourself. Use project. 2. Use the full 8,000 characters. Write a real operating manual. 3. One project per client voice. 4. Artifacts for anything you'll keep refining. 5. Let it remember context so you don't have to. 6. Turn on web search before any decision that depends on current facts. 7. Build tools, not just text with the visualizer. 8. Let it draft your client proposal same day. 9. Automate the boring admin with co-work. 10. Claude Code can replace the technical hire you were about to make. 11. Turn this case study into a LinkedIn post, a Twitter thread, and an email. Keep it punchy and results focused. 12. Connect your actual tools through MCP connectors. 13. Fix documents directly inside Word and Outlook. And 14. The instructions you write are the difference between an average tool and an unfair advantage. Now, quick and important, Claude ships new features at a genuinely fast pace, so something I show you today could shift in the months ahead. Thank you for spending this time with me. Today's episode just gave you a real shift in how you think about working with Claude. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Share it and tell me in the comments. That's genuinely the best way to support this work.